I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, July the 16th, brought to you in part by Performance Livestock Analytics. Performance Beef is a software designed by cattle producers for cattle producers. It helps you with feeding accuracy, herd health, especially in the data recording of it, invoicing, and closeouts. For more information, go to performancelivestockanalytics.com. How high is too high? And I know I was reserved about making that title to this episode of the Feeder Flash. I know. I think it's great that these cattle are so high, and the cow-calf producers are finally getting paid, and they're finally making some money. But this thing's getting dangerous. I tell you what, cattle thefts are up. You can't hardly drive off from cattle if you don't have a padlock on the gate or something like that. I mean, they're just so high. I saw where Tuesday morning, Tuesday morning at OKC West El Reno at the calf sale, they had some 250-pound calves bring $7 a pound. That's $1,750 for a calf that's not too big for a peewee rodeo guy to flank. I mean, they're just so high. It's unbelievable. A load of cattle, especially some fancy 5-weight steer cattle, can cost you upwards of $250,000 for one load of cattle. It's just getting crazy out there. And to turn out very many at all, it just costs so much money. And I'm here to tell you, they're not going to stay up forever. Now, we would like to say that they're going to kind of moderate and stay up. And of course, your fundamentals still at this point say that cattle are in good shape to stay high because demand is still good and the numbers are short and all this kind of thing. They are breeding heifers now, guys. In a big way, and I don't know how many turns it's going to be before it catches up, but when it does, we're just not going to plane out and go into a nice soft area here, or like an eddy in a river where you can kind of just hold right in there with no current and enjoy these high prices. They're volatile. They're going to be volatile forever. This industry is a slave to that futures market, and it's run by computers. And we think now if the board moves less than $2 one way or the other, we think, that not too much, just kind of a steady day. Forever your daily limit move was $1.50. I mean, you just rarely ever see it not move one way or the other, $2. And, it's not going to stay up there and just kind of coast for a long time. And people aren't going to be prepared for that. Ranches will be lost. We just got so much money invested in these cattle now that it's going to hurt people. But I was just thinking about that and talking with some guys on Tuesday, and they were going on about how high everything was, and it's just crazy high. And like I said, I'm the worst. I like to talk about record high prices. I like to give them to you. I've liked it all the way through this 3-year rally here. But man, we're just setting new prices every day, and by leaps and bounds, not just by a buck or two. But, we need to be preparing. Everybody needs to be preparing for when this thing stops going up, because I don't think it's going to, find a nice soft place to land there and plane out, because everything is just so volatile anymore. They've slashed slaughter. Our year-to-date slaughter is running over 6% lower than last year, but our beef production is only down 3.4% because carcass weights are so big. Grocery store prices are up 2.4% year over year, but your proteins, your meat, poultry, fish, and eggs are up 5.6 year over year. and beef and veal is up 10.6 year over year, 10.6% in the grocery stores. Everything's getting high. Eventually, you're gonna see consumers backing off of that, and I don't think we can really stand for that. We depend on aggressive demand for beef, and we don't want to get the prices up there to where people that really love it can't afford it, because we don't know how to operate in a situation like that. We would rather be in our supply demand pull one way or the other on cattle numbers. But it's just something to think about, just food for thought there. How about Charolais? If you guys are looking to make a genetic change, achieve yield grade premiums while still maintaining quality grade with Charolais, increase red meat yield, reduce days on feed, increase dollars per head with Charolais, all with industry acceptance, and that's the key there. For more information, go to poundsmatter.com. We're going to be broadcasting a new sale starting today on Wednesday, guys. We've got a new sale joining our family of broadcasted barns on DVAuction. It is Parsons, Kansas, and they've just got a modest run today on Wednesday here for their sale, but they're going to be having a big special next week. A lot of big consignments there, cattle coming in off the Flint Hills and things. They wanted to make sure everything was up and running good before they have that big sale next week, because a lot of you are going to want to tune in and bid on that sale. So we're so happy to have Parsons, Kansas. It's a good market, got a good reputation, sits in a good place there, and welcome to them. Talk about your board on Tuesday. August live cattle futures are up 305 at 222.40. October was up 250 at 219.27. Your back months were up 157 to 2 1/4 higher. August feeder cattle up 280 at 322.27. September feeder cattle up 280 at 322.37, and they've just been running neck and neck. Your back months on feeder cattle up 267 to up 302, and once again it happened last week one day. That highest month traded out is the farthest out traded month, up 302. So maybe this is going to last for quite a while longer. How about your corn for new crop December, up 1 1/4 cents a bushel at 419 1/4. November beans down 4 1/2 cents a bushel, clinging to $10 a bushel at 10.02 1/2. And hard red winter wheat for September up 3/4 cents at 523 3/4. Your fat cattle trade didn't have anything really break loose to speak of in your direct 5 area feeding region, but we did have some sales out of Iowa that sold on Tuesday. It was some live sales. There were 700 head of them. They traded live from 233 to 240, mostly 238 to 240. That 233 was some heifers, and I'm going to bet there were some heiferettes. Something was some age on them in there coming in at 233, and why they turn those in with the regular cattle, I don't understand it, but I guess if they got enough marbling in them and they grade high enough, it doesn't matter. They'll still go in with the top pull, but still 233 is way off of the market there. Dress sales at 380. Didn't see anything out of Nebraska, Kansas, or Texas. Did have our market finder, Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota. 600 head in overnight and 1375 for the fed cattle auction there in Yankton, South Dakota. The conventional cattle hit another all-time high there at Yankton, selling from 240 to 252. Now, Gary Marks told me those cattle that brought 252, they were not program cattle. They would be 40 to 50% prime. They would dress about 62%. But no drug free, no non-implants on them, just really good cattle. and they didn't have a whole lot of well-finished cattle there at Yankton this week. The numbers were a little light, and a lot of the cattle could have used some more days on feed compared to what the buyers like to buy right now. But that 252 is an all-time record high there, and the 240 to 252 was $8 to $14.50 higher than last week. Program cattle, they didn't have any drug-free cattle to speak of to test the market, but non-implanted cattle, 242 to 250.5, and that was steady to $6 higher. So just not as many well-finished cattle as they usually have, and some of those farmer feeders that go into Yankton might be light on cattle too. So it goes to show you there, not hearing anybody really being backed up. They've been selling cattle off right along. Box beef cutout values were mixed. Choice cuts were up 65 cents at $377.72. Selects were down $2 at $362.58. Your slaughter catching up a little bit through the first 2 days of this week. Estimated cattle slaughter at 230,000. That's 2,000 less than last week at this time. 10,000 less than the same week ago a year ago, or same point a year ago this week. Talk about what else is going on. Cattlemen's Insurance Agency, they're specializing in LRP and PRF. Let Brandon Reeves, who heads up Virginia Cattlemen's Association, let Brandon Reeves and his team of agents help protect the value of your cattle, especially on the way down. It's going to be coming down at some point, guys. For more information, go to insurance@vacattlemen.org. Talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. They are working to protect your livelihood. Real-time index at the end of all the sales on Tuesday, sitting at 321.76. That was up another 91 cents. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index come out at 321.10. Look at your big sales on Tuesday, and one of our favorites, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, had over 4,000 head of cattle there, sure 4,000 feeders, and the market hit all-time record highs for that barn and for Oklahoma and for anywhere at points there. It was your Superior Steel sales, home of Superior Standard Handling Equipment, stick-out sale of the day. Look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central, and you see the best tested weights. There were 238 steers in the 6-weight category. They averaged 658 at 356.80. 217 head of the 7-weight steers averaged 751 at 329.35. There were 1,064 head of 8-weight steers. They averaged 856 with a weighted average price of that many of them of 320.42. Wow. 508 head of 9-weight steers averaged 943 at 306.95. Look at your heifers. There were 285 head of the 4-weight heifers, averaged 462 at 416.44. 147 head of 5-weight heifers, averaged 550 on the button at 355.49. Just 168 of the 7-weight heifers, averaged 749 at 312.53. And 297 head of 8-weight heifers at Beaver County Stockyards averaged 827 pounds with a weighted average price of $300.10. Good sale there at Beaver. I'm going to give you several outstanding quotes. It was another record-setting day all over. First, I want to give you Santa Teresa livestock auction. My buddy Tato Medina, he hasn't had a sale for a while, and he's not going to be having a sale for a while after this one. He got a few cattle across Douglas, Arizona, and had them trucked to the sale barn at Santa Teresa. He got to sell them this week, and then that's going to be it because the border's closed. But he sold 83 head of steers, weighed 620 pounds for $379. Mexican imported cattle there, guys. Not too bad. How about Kingsville Livestock Auction in Kingsville, Missouri? 73 heifers weighed 707 at 335. Top quote, and they would be for feed, guys. Lolly Brothers Livestock Market in Macon, Missouri sold 68 steers weighed 731 at 364.75. These are big time quotes, guys. Flint Hills Stockyards in St. Mary's, Kansas sells 65 steers weighed 809 pounds for $337.50. Atkinson Livestock Market, the old reliable up there on the Yellow Brick Road in Nebraska, they sell 151 head of 939 pound steers for $324.25. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Alma Livestock Auction in Alma, Nebraska. 67 steers weighed 856 at $335. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.